Hey friends, my name is Sean McCormick and I'm a former public school special education teacher turned executive function coach. In this video, I'm going to share with you 3 of my favorite executive function IEP goals so you can think about how you could modify these for your students with ADHD, autism, traumatic brain injury, specific learning disabilities, and other needs. I made this video for parents advocating for their kids at IEP meetings, special education teachers who want some fresh ideas on how to support students with executive dysfunction, and special education administrators who want to improve systematic outcomes for kids with ADHD, autism, and traumatic brain injury. So first off, what are executive function skills? Executive functions are a set of cognitive processes mainly residing in the frontal lobe and the amygdala. Your executive functions help you respond to situations outside of the domain of automatic processing. Perhaps you're working with a difficult teacher that you don't see eye to eye with and need to find a pathway to meeting their class objectives without getting emotionally dysregulated. I like to use the acronym POSITIVE to describe executive function skills, which includes planning, organization, self-management, inhibition, time management, initiation of difficult tasks, visualizing outcomes, and evaluating priorities. A highly cited study by Dr. Adele Diamond found that executive function skills are more important for school readiness than IQ or entry-level reading or math scores. And peer-reviewed studies found that executive function skills predict both math and reading competence throughout the school years. But the crazy part is, when I was a special education teacher for over 5 years in the public school system, I never heard about executive function skills. It might have come up a few times in a neuropsych report, but it was rarely talked about as a key indicator of student success. So if you're a parent or educator who has realized that executive function skills are one of the most important things you can foster in your students, I want to share with you my top 3 goals. Now, if you're not familiar with the concept of executive functions and want to learn more, go back and check out my other video, What are Executive Functions? Now, if you're wondering, does my child have challenges with executive function? Here are a few indicators that they may be struggling with these important skills. They demonstrate time blindness, meaning they frequently run late to appointments and meetings. 2, they have sequencing challenges, meaning they have a difficult time stringing together tasks towards a long-term objective. 3, chronic disorganization. They struggle to keep their personal belongings, school items, assignments in a neat and tidy order. 4, emotional dysregulation. They often get upset, overwhelmed, and have a difficult time keeping themselves regulated. 5, working memory challenges. They often forget daily chores because it's hard for them to keep all the tasks and things they need to do at the top of their mind. Now, before we jump into these IEP goals, I want you to understand the components of an effective IEP goal. First, the goal has to have a baseline or starting point at which the student is beginning their journey to reach the goal. Once you have that baseline, you can then use the different parts of an IEP goal to form an appropriately ambitious goal that should be completed within 1 year's time of the IEP meeting. Now, you're going to want to hit on 7 parts of an IEP goal to make sure it's thorough and complete. And I'm going to list those out for you now, and then we'll look at the first IEP goal to make sure it has all those criteria. 1, there's a date by when it should be completed. 2, there's a condition under which the goal should be met. 3, there's a functional performance indicator or the thing that the person's going to do. 4, there's an observable behavior that you can say did or did not occur. 5, there's a criteria for success or a measurement of the accuracy by which the goal is completed. 6, there's a measure of mastery or an indicator of how many times the behavior should be done in order for the goal to be mastered or met. And 7, there's an indication of who's measuring the goal so that someone is accountable in addition to the student. So let's look at a full IEP goal in the area of planning, which is a key executive function skill. So by the date, which would be the next annual IEP, when provided with a list of upcoming assignments, the student will accurately predict the amount of time required to complete all assignments due that week by recording those estimates into a planner with at least 70% accuracy and 3 out of 4 randomized checks as measured by a review of the student's planner by case manager, teacher, whoever is working on this goal with the student, which is typically the case manager. Now, the reason this goal works is because it holds both the student and the staff accountable. The staff is going to give them the list of upcoming and missing assignments because that's a whole nother goal, which is identifying and finding the assignments. So when they give them a list of, let's say, 10 assignments for that week, the student should then take each of those assignments and block them out into their planner and put an estimate of how long it should take. Then the staff member can work with the student so that they can self-monitor whether or not the estimate they made for how long that assignment should take actually was accurate. Now, if that type of support occurs, the student is going to gradually become better and better at making accurate time estimates and hopefully meet this goal by the end of the year. Let's look at another IEP goal in one of my favorite areas, which is self-advocacy. By the date of the next annual IEP, when provided with templates for self-advocacy, the student will advocate to their teacher by copying the appropriate template and filling in the blanks with no more than 2 prompts and 3 out of 4 opportunities as measured by permanent products, i.e. emails. Now, this is a great goal because what you can do is provide the student with a template to advocate for themselves. For example, I like to provide students with this set of email templates so they don't have to do all the cognitive work of figuring out what to say. They can put it in there and start their practice of self-advocacy. So let's go to an example of missing assignments. I'm going to click on this, and it says here, "Hi teacher, I noticed my grade in your class is currently a D or an F, whatever it is. I want to send a friendly reminder that I turned in whatever assignment they did. I'm also attaching it to this email in case it got lost. I also noticed that my grades on the following assignments are, and they put those in. Is there anything I can do to make up these assignments, as my goal for this semester is to earn A, B, A in your class?" So when the student takes this and starts to fill it in, instead of going through all the cognitive labor of writing the email, they can just focus on the executive function skill, which is planning and identifying missing assignments and self-advocating to the teacher for a plan. If you're interested in a copy of these templates so you can use them with your students, click on the link in the description so you can download a copy of those templates. For the last goal, let's look at the area of inhibition to see how we could support a student who's having a hard time self-managing. So in this one, we say by the date of the next annual IEP, with access to an assignment and a timer, student will successfully remain on task by setting a timer for a self-determined amount of time and engaging in the assignment independently with 80% success, as measured by teacher observations. So how this might look is you say to the student, "Hey, do you think you can work on this assignment for 10 minutes independently?" If they agree and say yes, then you could say, "Okay, do you want to set a timer so you can track yourself to completion?" You as the case manager or parent also want to be tracking it to be aware of how long it's been. And if they get to at least 8 minutes, they've hit the measurement of success, right? They've done 80% of that 10 minutes. Now you do want to get clear with the student about what it means to remain on task. If they're reading, maybe it means that they're reading the entire time. Having real clarity on these things is important for student success. And that will take you to this IEP goal bank, which I've developed over time to have many different goals on executive function skills. I do want to let you know that it's very important that you modify and adjust these goals so that they work effectively with the student. And make sure that the student understands the goal so they can self-monitor their progress on this. Because oftentimes the biggest barrier to student success with IEP goals is that they don't even understand what they're working on. If you're a parent and you feel like your student isn't making progress towards their IEP goal, I've also included an email template you can send to their case manager to start a conversation around how to support your student with executive dysfunction on reaching their IEP goals. So here's what I recommend you say. You can check it out here. "Hi teacher, hope you're doing well. I'm looking forward to your update this semester on how my child is progressing towards reaching the IEP goal you are supporting on them." You can copy the goal in there. "Would you tell me what approaches you are using to help my child reach these goals? Additionally, is there anything I can do to support this work? Thank you for your guidance." As a parent, you can't expect the teacher to just get everything done. They often have a large caseload of students, and it's also your job to stay engaged and involved in their education process so you can work collaboratively to support the development and acquisition of reaching these goals. I hope this video gave you some helpful ideas on how to write better goals for executive function skills. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and check out some of my other videos. And if you have any other questions about IEP goals and executive function skills, just drop a comment below and I'll make sure to get back to you. See you in the next video.